Hey everybody, I know it's been a minute. This is of course Life with Nessa and Nai, and today we're doing something a bit different. This is my first gardening video. I started a little container garden and I really wanted to show you guys my setup, so let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, so here it is guys. This is what we have here. As you can see, everybody is out now in the sun. This is where I put them out in the morning. This is not actually where they stay overnight. I return them to my veranda, as we call it here in Jamaica, but right now I have them out in the sun because the veranda doesn't really get a lot of sun. So here we have a few plants. We have some lettuce here. This is lettuce, everybody, and I'm so excited for it. It's so pretty. I think I've been doing a good job with watering it. We have some spinach here. Now this I need to transplant because I think the pot that it's in is too shallow. This is the height of the pot, and they normally recommend that you have a 6-inch pot. This is not quite that deep, so I think I need to transplant it because I think they're suffering for it. Over here again we have some more lettuces. These are smaller ones. These were kind of left behind when I was transplanting these out because they were all planted at the same time. Now the difference is because they were so crowded and they weren't getting a lot of space, then these now kind of they popped later one too, and then the growth slowed down. Here we have some weeds. I'm just going to pull them out. Alright, additionally this is a lettuce plant that I planted some seeds in there. There was another one. Here it is, and it kind of just died. It did burst, it did pop from the ground, but it died. So this is the only one that's there now, that's planted from seed. And again we have some more lettuce, and you'll see the lettuce are at different stages just because, as I said before, it was kind of overcrowded when I did initially plant them, and so they're at different stages. They pop different times, but overall I do have a pretty healthy set right here. These I know will be ready to reap shortly, and then these now will be following after. Over here we have some sweet pepper plants. Now some of these were from seed. I believe this one, no, these 4 were from seed, but this one and this one I actually threw a sweet pepper away and they started to grow, and so I just transplanted it in here. So as you can see, they're doing really lovely. They have some main leaves. These have been the early leaves that came out, and then we have some main leaves coming up. Over here we have thyme. Now thyme is a very difficult plant to grow from seed. To be honest, I really haven't had much luck with it. One time I planted it from seed and it did grow, but then a snail ate it down. So I have this plant here, I have this one here, and I have this one here. Now for whatever reason these are laying down. I'm not sure why. I have tried putting more dirt around the root. I don't think that it did much, to be honest, because it stayed up for a minute but then it laid back down, and so but I'm still excited that these are growing. I did plant quite a number of seeds here, but the reality is only those came out, so I'm grateful nevertheless. This is a callaloo plant, but I didn't plant this callaloo plant because I mixed my potting soil with regular dirt. Then this is the result of that. So this was probably in the soil that I mixed the potting soil with. Over here we have another lettuce. Now this was transplanted from out of these because I'm trying not to overcrowd the pots, so I transplanted it out just a few days ago. We did see a little leaf death, but so far it's not doing too bad. There's another lettuce here, and if you can see down in the middle we have a main leaf, another leaf coming up, so this should be doing well. This is a tomato plant that I planted from seed. I'm not sure of the variety. I got this variety from Rada. They have a backyard kit program, and I got it in the kit, and so I planted it, and a few of them came. This is the only one I've transplanted so far. I do have the other one in cells to be transplanted. I just haven't gotten around to it as yet. Here again we have another lettuce. This one was transplanted out first before the others, before this one. So these and this were around the same, but then this was transplanted out first. Again, the spacing does affect how well they grow, how quickly they grow, but so far they are doing well, so I'm not too upset. We have some string bean here. This planted from seed also. As you can see here, the leaf is suffering because there's a snail somewhere that is coming out to eat my plants at night. What I'm going to do about it is that I'm going to set what is called a bear trap, which is just some regular bear in a container, and I'm going to leave it under the plant to see if it kills that culprit. I had 2 other ones under here, but they didn't really grow, or they grew but something ate off the leaf, so they're just struggling for life. Over here I have a strawberry that I bought recently because I've always loved strawberries. They're not necessarily easy plants, but if you know what you're doing, they'll do well. So I bought these strawberry plants, and there's a little one here that was coming off as a seedling. So I just stuck it in the soil so I can have roots, so I can have more plants to transplant shortly. This is a rosemary plant that I bought at the the forestry department. It was $700, and I always wanted the rosemary. Rosemary is difficult. I've tried to catch it, you know, from like stem or whatever, but it never really worked out for me. So I'm happy that I found a plant, and I'm trying to take care of it so it doesn't die. Here now, this is a random tree that I have that really doesn't belong in a container, but I went to the forestry department and they have this tree called a rose apple tree. I'll put a picture in the videos for those of you who don't know what it looks like. But this is a rose apple tree. This is a plant that I used to love as a kid. The fruit, I used to love it as a child when I was growing up, and so they had it. I haven't seen much of those trees in a long time, to be honest, nor the fruit. So I bought it. So the next thing now is that we need to get a piece of land, right? And over there we have some cilantro. Let me go in for a closer look. Now this has been growing for a very long time, to be honest. This was one of the first plants that I planted. Before this has been growing before any of these here. So this is the veteran in the group. I've used it a couple of times. To be honest, when I'm planting stuff, sometimes I don't even think. I just see a seed and go, ooh, and I buy it, I plant it, and here we are. So this is what it looks like now, guys. Over here we have some other things. This is a kale variety. This is the purple one. That I bought also from seed. This is scallion. Now this is growing, or spring onions depending on where you live. Now this is growing from kitchen scraps. So when I bought it at the market, I cut off the bottom where the roots would have been, and then I planted it, and so it's growing. I have some others as well that I did plant from kitchen scraps, and so they're doing well. I've used it before, and normally what I do when I'm cutting it, I cut it just below above the root so it can always regrow. You will see this is his garden scraps in my garden still, because sometimes I do that to the soil. And then these, I have no idea what these are, guys. These maybe cucumber, maybe pumpkin. I'm leaning towards cucumber because I did throw a cucumber in here the other day, but I'm still not sure. But I'm allowing everybody to grow. Of course they won't all do well because it's a bit crowded, but we'll see. As you can see, they've gotten their main leaf and they're doing not too bad. So let's see. In here we have some carrots. Now I love carrots, and I've always tried to plant carrots. One time I did have a reaping, but it was very small because the container wasn't deep, and so that's something you have to be mindful of when you're doing container farming, the depth of the container based on the plant that you're planting. And so this time I decided to do a much deeper plot, as you can see, and so hopefully these do well. This is my Scotch bonnet pepper tree, guys. This was grown from a pepper. So I bought a pepper in the market, I figured it out, it grew. As you can see, there's some weed in here that I need to pull out, but nevertheless I have reaped from this a few times, not a lot. Last picking I think I only got 3, but there are some young ones on here that seem like they're going to come up, and then we have some new leaves coming up. I'm trying to take care of it because it had fungus the other day. I actually had to spray it, but I'm happy that it looks a bit healthier. Now a lot of these are pretty easy to take care of, like the lettuce, the leafy greens, they require a lot of water. So the lettuce, the cilantro, the spinach, they require a lot of water, which is what it is that I've been trying to do. I think watering them would have probably be the hardest because they're in pots. They don't have the root system to extend and to find a water source. So you have to always be constantly providing that water source. I don't have rainwater like that. I have piped water, or chlorine water as we call it here. So what I'll do is I'll let it catch the water in a container, let it sit for 24 hours so the chlorine settles, and then I'll use it to water my plants. I also recently bought a fish, and I use the fish water whenever I change the water, because I do have like a filter system and those nice things. It's not a fancy setup. Whenever I change the water from the fish, I'll use it as a form of like fertilizer, because I'm trying to do all natural. I'm trying to avoid the chemical stuff. So that's what I've been doing. So yeah, guys, that is my current setup. I chose these because they seemed easy to take care of. All of the videos that I watched when I was doing my research before actually starting to plant said lettuce and those things are pretty easy to grow, so that's why I chose them to see. And so far, and I think they've been doing great. I have tried before, as I said, but they weren't as lovely as these. So as you saw in the earlier, let me show it to you again. Here it is, and I say I'm so proud. Like this is variety, I don't remember the name of it. There are some pests that I've noticed in there, which I think they're aphids. I've been trying to avoid spraying them, so I've kind of been going in with my fingers and doing right now and killing them when I can. But That's not necessarily sustainable, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to get there. Maybe some neem oil, maybe some natural pesticides to avoid, as I said before, the chemicals. I've been told that I can spray them with some soap water. I actually have some here now, so I'm going to spray them while we're here. No, before I said this is lettuce. It's actually not. This is cucumber, to be honest. It's cucumber, not lettuce. Yes, I've finished applying the soap water to the aphids, so hopefully that does get rid of them, because I really don't want to spray it with any chemicals. But I guess if I have to, the same thing that I used on the pepper tree to save it is probably what I can use. I think it is can be used for aphids. I just didn't want to use any form of chemicals. Anyways, I really want to extend my garden, so I have some more pots, and the pots that you saw there, the ones with the weird shape, like a widget shape. I bought those at the Dollar Tree in the United States when I was there, and I was packing my little barrel, so $1.25. But I also have some household things that I want to repurpose to use, so like, you know, your 5-liter water bottles and some other things. I have a mixing bowl that bursts, and so I'm going to be using it to plant some stuff in. So I will be showing you guys that, and of course I'm going to be planting some crops. My intention is to plant easy crops, quick crops, things that I use around my house on a daily. I like lettuce, and so that's one of the reasons I have so much lettuce, and I also want to gift some people some. But thank you guys for watching. Do you guys have any recommendation of plants, or yes, of plants that I should plant? I'm looking for potted varieties. Of course, I don't know what does. You can tell me what you think does well in a pot, especially in my climate, what does not, and I'll be sure to see if I can find those seeds and go ahead and plant them. One of the things that I've learned, especially with planting with seeds, because I don't have a lot of space, I'm not utilizing a lot of space, is that after I finish with my seeds, I put them in the refrigerator so I can have them. It extends the life of them. And so for those that I've planted out, those aren't all the seeds. I do have some left, and so I put them in the refrigerator. So of course I'll be rotating, I'll be planting more as we continue. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like and to subscribe to follow my gardening journey. This is Life with Nessa and I. Of course, again, drop your recommendations down in the comments of what plants you think I should go ahead and plant next. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.